Hey guys, this is Nexus here, about to do another interview with a gamer, this time with DaRoninEnigma. Did I say that correctly?
You absolutely did.
All right, welcome. This is probably the 12th interview I've done, so this is going to be something else.
Don't be nervous. I don't bite.
Oh, I know. I'm not nervous. I'm just groggy, man. I'm never nervous with these kind of things. But anyway, before we get into the questions, I thought I'd ask you to talk a little bit about yourself and kind of give the viewers a little bit of a short summary into who you are as a gamer and all that.
Well, I mean that's a long and storied history, but as a gamer, I'm a full-fledged gamer. I'm not really one that kind of dabbles in it. As far back as I can remember, I've owned probably every gaming console that you can name. I've owned at least one copy of, unless it broke, and then I'd obviously have to replace it with others. And I only really started getting into the PC thing last March, I think it was. One of my buddies, he was at the top of the mountain screaming how PC was the master race, and I vehemently disagreed with that, as I was a console guy. I still am too, and I'm still a console guy. I think I have 6 in my house right now. Seven in my house. But yeah, no, I'm a gamer for life, and I'm never going to stop, and I'm going to play whatever gets put in front of me. That's just how that's going to roll.
Let's see here. Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of background on you. So I think we'll kind of lead into the question you were kind of dipping on the topic at the beginning of it. Why do you game?
I think and as a kid, I mean, I think maybe we all were, but as a kid, I was the dreamer type. I like to kind of put myself into the stories on TV and in movies, and with G.I. Joe and He-Man and all these heroes that I grew up with. I always wanted to be a part of that story, and gaming really gives you the kind of the lens to do that with, where you're actually portraying the characters in the game. So you decide what's taking place and what's happening most of the time. And that level of immersion was, for a creative type like me, it was the perfect channel, I guess you can say, to kind of guide me through life. I mean, I game as much as I can, and when you get that fantastic game that comes out, you still get that magical feeling, even now, the same way you did when you were a kid. And I think that's where this industry thrives and really stands out, is that it really allows you to feel like a kid, no matter the environment or the age. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yes, very, very, very true. Especially a lot of people that I've talked to about this topic, they do say in their childhood it's just like it was either an escape or it was a way to kind of de-stress as well, and also to enjoy themselves in the sense. So a very unique spin on it coming from you, so I thank you for that.
No worries.
Okay, perfect. All right, now I kind of want to ask about your handle, your YouTube handle, and I'm guessing you use it on Twitch. So how did that come about?
That's kind of an amalgamation of a few things. The Ronin portion was a nickname I had for I don't know, 5 or 6 years with a group of friends. They used to call me Ronin, and it was loosely based on the Robert De Niro movie, which if you haven't seen, I recommend checking out. But so that's where that came from. People used to call me Ronin. And the Enigma part, my first Xbox gamer tag was enigmatic. So I kind of blended the two together because I couldn't think of anything else. And I kind of sounded it out. Okay, what does this sound like when I say it? What does it look like on screen? Can I live with it? And I decided, yeah, I can live with it. I mean, they're words I've used a lot in my vocabulary in the past and I've heard. So if people say Ronin, I will answer to it. I won't just look kind of off into space wondering who they're talking to.
Yeah, because it really does roll off the tongue when you say it, though. It is like it's very simple and very easy, but it has that kind of mystery to it. So people are like, hey, what is this?
Hence the Enigma, yeah.
Yeah, hence the Enigma, yeah. Now I'm looking at your channel right now, and I'm seeing your banner. Now, about your banner, was that made by you, or did you commission somebody to do that?
No, I did that. I've varied my banner. I think that's the 4th or 5th iteration that I've had. Okay. And I just mess around with it. You know, I open the channel. If I get tired of looking at it, then it's like, okay, let's go mess around and make something else. And this is currently what it's sitting at, and for all we know, that could change again.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of what you feel like you want to get through. It's like I'm sick and tired of looking at this, and you think people are sick and tired of looking at it, so you just go and say, hey, actively, hey, let's just go change it up. It's all good.
Yeah, I think it's maybe it's my own vanity. It's just that when I open my channel, if I have any intention of uploading something or posting content or just checking on things, when I go there, I want that to be something I enjoy. I don't want to open my channel and go, ugh, I'm doing this again, huh?
Yeah.
So I think as far as the aesthetics go and the way it looks is, for the most part, it's just for my sake, for the simple fact that I want to keep enjoying this process and doing this and creating content and having fun with it. Which is why from time to time I'll step away for, weeks on end. And I think my longest spell away was a couple of months. I stepped away. Just not because I wasn't enjoying it, but because I needed the break. I needed to just go do gaming in a different environment without recording, just to kind of enjoy the process of just playing a game. Just sit down. I don't need to set anything up. I don't need to record anything. I don't need to commentate everything. Just to enjoy it. And then when I'm ready, I'll just come back and I'll record something or I'll stream something and throw the content up there. Because if you overdo it, you start to hate it. And when you start to hate it, it really shows in the content. And I'm trying to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, that's the truth of it. It's especially with doing stuff like this, you kind of get into this kind of niche where you're like, that you need to get something out. And then as if you can't enjoy the gaming, then it's going to show in your content. It's going to show to your viewers, and your viewers are going to be like, hey, what's up? What's going on? Something's wrong, stuff like that. And it really does show. So yeah, I do agree with that. Okay.
Yeah, it becomes a grind.
Yeah. Pun intended, right?
Pun absolutely intended.
Alrighty. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go through your channel. I'm going to go through some of your uploads. I'm going to ask you about certain series, and we're going to see what we can get kind of some insight into the creative process that you have for some of these.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm opening up your videos tab, and let's see. I'm just going to see what the first thing that kind of grabs my attention. And really, the Paranormal Activity PSVR. So I'm guessing you do some stuff with VR, do you?
Yeah. I got a VR about maybe 8 months ago. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, give or take. And like I kind of alluded to earlier, you talk about those magical moments. When I put that thing on for the first time, and I loaded up the teaser, the Resident Evil 7 teaser, and I went through that experience. It was, and it's hard to explain to people that haven't tried VR, but it was terrifying. Obviously, it's Resident Evil. It's supposed to be. But B, that level of immersion made me really see that, gaming is coming so far, and it's grown leaps and bounds just in the last, 5 years. Just this generation of consoles alone, the growth rate is insane. The things that we're seeing now, and VR really kind of opened my eyes to that when I saw it. So yeah, I've been trying to find excuses to stream it, and I found Paranormal Activity, which was a really good opportunity. Terrifying game, but it was a good opportunity to stream it and let people see what it looks like when I get scared.
Yeah, because that was the first thing that kind of popped up when I looked on the channel itself. And I looked at the videos tab, and I said, Paranormal Activity, okay, I want to ask about that. Now, for something like that, is that because I've never really dabbled in VR myself, is there any story to it, or is it just kind of immersion, kind of moving around and kind of getting into the feeling of the Paranormal Activity universe? I
would say, to be perfectly honest with you, it's about as loose in story as some of the movies are.
Okay.
Some of the films, I have no idea what's going on. I don't get the backstory. I know they're trying to tell me one, and they're trying to get me to look at certain things in the events that are unfolding, which are going to be important later. But I can't always focus on those things because I'm too terrified of what's standing over in the corner. Same kind of thing happens here in the game. Yeah, there's a really loose story there that that kind of ties the entire thing together. But for the most part, it's the it's the exploration and the immersion and the it's the impending fear, the what's going to happen next. Because what I've found is that when things do happen, yeah, they're scary, but they're scary for a second or two. And once they've happened, it's like, okay, that happened. I'm over it now. But then you go back into, you know, a 8 to 10, 15 minute period where you're terrified of what's coming next. And that's the scariest part, is the build up to what's happening. And I think that was brought across pretty well in the game.
Okay. Yeah, because I've never really dabbled in the movies and stuff. I've really had no interest. But I imagine, yeah, the kind of tenseness that would be, especially when you don't know where something is, in most horror games, especially these days. And especially if you haven't played it, and you're just like, okay, what's happening next? It's like that. You're like, oh God, what are you doing? What are you doing to me? And stuff like that.
That's exactly it. And I played it for the first time on stream. I loaded it up and loaded a new game right there on stream. And you're spot on there. It's always, you know, wondering what's coming next. What am I doing? Why am I backtracking? Why am I not stepping forward? Like, I think there were moments in some of those streams where I stood still for maybe 2-3 minutes, just telling the viewers, no, I'm not going in there. I can't do that. I'm not going to go in that door. But then, you know, ultimately I succumb and cave in because, you know, I gotta provide some entertainment value. So
yeah, it's like,
I man up. Yeah,
I don't want to. I find, especially with for throwing an example out there, see, a Dead Space. I'm guessing, have you dabbled in that?
Yeah, I played some Dead Space, but it was a while back. It was when Dead Space was new.
Okay. Now, because especially when I do that is when I first started playing it, when I always heard something, it says, I know I heard something, and I always heard these whispering things that come up, and I'm just like, okay, something's coming. I know something's coming. I prepare myself. I get all tense, and they come up, and I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think for me, it was the first Silent Hill. The first Silent. I don't know why, and even now, if I hear, because on Spotify, everyone has Spotify, but I make gaming music channels in Spotify just to kind of pick up songs from games I grew up with and I enjoyed and stuff like that. And every time the Silent Hill stuff comes on, I get creeped out. I get legit creeped out because I remember what it was like playing Silent Hill, and just getting that first real feeling of terror in a video game. And yeah, Silent Hill was a brutal thing to try to get through.
Yeah, I have to attest to that. I've played a bunch of those games when I was young, like that. And I have to kind of tie into them because I remember watching the movie. I don't know if it really came up to my expectations of the games. What do you think about that?
The Silent Hill movie?
Yeah.
You know what? I actually herald the Silent Hill movie as one of the better video game adaptation movies, because it brought out the same thing that the game originally did, and I think it was a lot to do with the audio. The music was very, very similar to what was portrayed in the game, which I think for those of us that played Silent Hill, kind of added to the tension and the fear factor of the film. And I think the transition moments with the siren and the you know, all the paint peeling off the walls and everything rusting, and I think that really lived up to what the game tried to do. So, you know, to me, the original Silent Hill movie is one of my preferred gaming movies.
But I was kind of hearing it explained that way. It does seem that way. I watched the sequel that came out like a while ago, and I don't know. I just got really creeped out with some parts of that, and I'm just like, it's just like the bringing back my skin crawl for some things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great.
Which is the idea, right? Which is what they wanted to get across. So it lived up to what it was supposed to do.
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay. Now I see you do a lot of horror stuff.
Yeah, the irony.
I know. Let's see here. I see a game here called Home Sweet Home. Now, I haven't heard about this before. What is this game about?
So that's one I'm kind of slapping myself for not finishing, which I'll get back to that one sometime in the near future. I think when I start recording in earnest again, that's the one I'm going to go back to. But the way it starts out is that you kind of end up in this dream state or this dream world where you transition from your home into this dream world, and it's set in, I want to say the Philippines.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember what the first mission was. You start out in a rundown apartment building, and once you leave the room, you kind of have to navigate your way around, find a flashlight, do all the standard cookie cutter horror game stuff, and then you run into this kind of. She looks kind of like the girl from, I want to say, The Ring, with the long black hair and the dead eyes and. Stuff like that. And she stalks you around the map and kind of walks through walls and stuff like that and really creeps you out. Then once you clear her level, you go back into the house, you look around, you find out that your wife is missing, and you find notes and stuff scattered around the house. You put the clues together. Then you head back into the cellar or crawl space, whatever it might be, under the stairs, and head into the second level where there's this gigantic monster with like a pinhole sized mouth that the lore is that his punishment is that he can't eat and he's always hungry. So at one point in the game you gotta kind of put the pieces together and fix a meal for him, kind of thing. But he stalks you around the map too, and he's enormous. That's kind of where I left off on it. But it is cool, but that's kind of right around the time I really stepped back from it a bit and took a bit of a hiatus. So that's one I really want to get back into and finish off that series, because that game was pretty cool.
Yeah, it seemed very interesting. I've not really dabbled in that. I might have to look into that. I see that you have played a staple of mine that I'd love to play, is Evil Within.
Yeah, Evil Within. Okay, so I found it. I can't remember where I found it, but I found it. And I got it for a really good price. And I'd always meant to play it, and I'd heard bad things about it, heard good things about it, and so I was always on the fence about it. So I saw it at the right price, and I was like, all right, I'm jumping in. Why not? And I played as much of it as I could, and then I just got caught up in a bunch of other stuff with my crew. We were pretty much trying to get together every week to play whatever it was we wanted, but I'd found at that time I'm going to step away from the single player stuff and just try to get some games in with my friends and put more of that content out. So I never got through the full thing in the Evil Within, and I had intended to, and then I intended to do the second one as well, but I just found it was taking so long to get that series completed, and I was like, I got too many things on the go. I'm going to have to step away from this one, even if it's just temporary. Maybe I'll go back to it later, but I enjoyed it. It was just very, very long.
Okay, so transitioning from the kind of horror stuff we're working on, I do see that you do a bunch of Battlegrounds streaming and videos.
I've done some. I wouldn't say I've done a bunch. I think I've got maybe 2 or 3 streams and maybe 2 or 3 videos. I did some on Twitch. My buddy does more of the Battleground stuff, and I join his stuff. Okay. But yeah, I try to play as much PUBG as I can. I really enjoy playing it. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very good at it yet.
Same
but
here. Same here.
I enjoy playing it. I don't mind playing solos. I don't like recording solo in PUBG, only because I need the banter. In a game like that, I need the banter of my teammates with me, which is why I tend to play when they stream. I'll jump on their stream with them and try to get some comedy in there. But no, I love the game. I really do. I intend on doing more of it in the future. I got to get some more practice in, man. I don't got the skill set to put that out there yet.
Yeah, the same thing was me. I've done a couple streams of it. I'm not that good as well. I have it on the Xbox for on there. And I am trying to find people to actually play that with on the Xbox, because the banter, I agree with something like that. I've done a couple streams. I was streaming, and I think it was like 22nd place, and then suddenly there was this door open, and I went in there, figured something was in there, so I went up there with a crossbow and I shot him in the ass. And he died. and then I clipped it together, and I think it's on my Twitter. I did where I just clipped in a thing of Forrest Gump, where he goes, something bit me.
Yeah.
I adored making that clip because it was just amazing.
Well, that's the thing. That's why you need other people sometimes. Is some of the funniest things happen. Like when I think back, some of my solo stuff I really am proud of. And there's a few series that I really loved making, and I would definitely, if ever I had to clear my channel and just kind of keep the top 2 or 3 series, there's some that that come to mind, but most of the best stuff I have comes when I'm playing with friends. That's when the unexpected happens, and you're not alone laughing at it, right? And sometimes it's the reactions, it's the reactions to the laughter that get the best content. So that's kind of why I try to lean more toward jumping into games with people, so that I can kind of benefit off of their their antics and their humor as much as mine is in there.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. I find, especially with doing multiplayer games, is that there's the kind of unknown that what happens with the interactions. With single player, you know how you're going to react to certain things, but when you hit with somebody else and they react a certain way, and it makes you laugh, it's like, it makes it all much better, right?
Oh yeah, 100%, yeah.
Okay. I've been noticing kind of a theme with some of your videos is I'm seeing this kind of like animated. I'm guessing that's an animated version of you that I see a lot of.
It could be me popping up in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah. I made there's one of myself and a couple of friends that I made all these different poses and stuff on this digital framework that I built. Okay. I can't remember the name of the software. It was the one that you used to be able to use to make characters to play in Gmod and stuff. Anyway, so I made the framework for our characters, and I did all these screen caps of different reactions and stuff like that. So for a while I was messing with it, throwing the faces up there, stuff like that. So that's who you're seeing.
Yeah, because it was just looking at some of your videos, and I'm noticing that I'm like, oh, thing. It just kind of just popped out at me. I'm like, but Until Dawn Rush of Blood. I've never really heard of that part. Is that a DLC?
That is a PSVR game.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's it's kind of messed up. It's kind of like a side story, if you want to even call it that, to Until Dawn, where you're in I'll call it a minecart because I don't really know what else to call it. A minecart, and you get taken through this. It's kind of like a roller coaster. That's the best way to describe it because of the way it kind of rolls around and peaks and valleys and stuff. But it's an on rails shooter, basically, is what it is. And you get taken through these horror environments where you face zombies and different types of monsters. I think there's one where there's like a witch and stuff like that, and they try to jump scare you, and sometimes they do. But I think the whole premise is you're like a psychiatric patient, I believe, because at the end of each level you end up in this it's like a medical room, like a doctor's office, but really
like the psychiatrist guy from the main game.
Yeah, it's a different person, but the kind of same dark feeling. Yeah. And he'll say these little lines at the end, like you've almost made it this time, or we're starting to make progress, but you're not done yet. And then it kind of cuts to the next level. But yeah, it's just a on-rail shooter in VR. It's really cool. Don't get me wrong, it's really cool, but it's very, very, very light on any storytelling.
Okay, so it's kind of more of like one of just jump scared or a little bit of a fest that has a little bit of stuff for it. Okay, so I see, there is a lot of PSVR, and tell me, how do you feel about Surgeon Simulator in that sense?
Oh, Surgeon Simulator. So, I love it. I really do love Surgeon Simulator. Just for the simple fact that it's meant to be what it is. It's meant to be as silly as it looks. And when I played it originally on, I think it was PlayStation 3 or 4, One of the two. You would use the controller to play the game, which made it really, really difficult, very difficult, and that was kind of funny. But with the VR, you have the VR wands, right? Which makes it easier to complete the surgery. So you got to find other ways to make everything entertaining, which is what I definitely tried to do when I was recording Surgeon Simulator VR. I had fun with that, and I had so much fun that I took, I think, 2 or 3 sessions that I did and kind of jumbled them together into a best of video that's up there somewhere.
Yeah, Surgeon Simulator Hilarious Moments.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I see a thing called Enter the Dirt Squirrel.
Yeah.
I want to ask about that. Okay.
So, Dirt Squirrel. Dirt Squirrel's a little character I came up with while playing Gang Beasts. Gang Beasts. I think it was the first time me and my buddies played Gang Beasts. And we were just going through putting our characters together because you can kind of semi-customize your characters. And I came up with the brown, I think it's a fox costume, but it's a squirrel to me. And I named him Dirt Squirrel. And yeah, I used Dirt Squirrel ever since. And I think I did a couple of GTA 5 videos as Dirt Squirrel with a one of those voice changers. Make my voice really squeaky. So I actually lived out the persona of Dirt Squirrel in a couple of different places. And I ain't done with Dirt Squirrel yet. Dirt Squirrel's going to come back at some point. We haven't seen the end of him.
Oh, that's going to be great. Watch out for that, people. Watch out for that. Yeah, I really do want to actually get Gang Beasts because that looks like a hell of a lot of fun.
It's
especially
insane.
The rage moments. It's
insane. There's no game that has made me laugh harder than Gang Beasts made me laugh. And I have a few, I think there's 2 or 3 videos that I played Gang Beasts in. And anytime I do channel trailers, I'm always clipping the stuff out of Gang Beasts and including it in there because there are moments I'm laughing so hard I can't breathe. And I'm like, okay, I have to include that. That has to be in my trailer because, as much as I laugh, I don't laugh like that. That's one of those things where it's like, I almost died. That laugh almost killed me. I better share that. I better share that content. So yeah, Gang Beasts is hilarious.
See, another game that I think is really, really fun is what I'm seeing on here. Match Your Friend. I just recently picked that up. And, oh my god. That must be a hoot. That must be an absolute hoot with the right people.
Oh yeah, when you get the right crowd, and that could go with just about any game. You get the right people.
Oh yeah,
and you can make like Arma 3. Arma 3 is a hyper-realistic military shooter, and aside from Gang Beasts, Arma 3 is probably the funniest stuff I've done. Is playing Arma 3. And that's just because me and my pals decide, okay, we're going to play Arma 3, and what we're going to do is we're going to role play while we play. But we're going to role play ridiculously silly characters, which gets us howling every time. Yeah.
His name was Guandabe.
Yeah, that was one of the guys I had to kill. His name was Guandabe. Yeah. Damn guy.
I'm seeing like for the lulz. I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. That's perfect. Layers of Fear.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. I recently played 1 episode of that so far, and I got the really bad heebie-jeebies. What about you?
Yeah, Layers of Fear was early in the horror stuff for me. I'll come straight up and I'll say I hated horror games. They terrified me like nothing. Like I hated them. But I thought, well, I'm going to try some out. Why not? Why not dabble a little bit? And I think the first one I really did was a little indie game called Final Take. That one made me jump a couple of times. Pretty damn good. And I was like, ooh, okay. Wasn't as bad as I thought. Then I got Layers of Fear. And yeah, Layers of Fear is one of those games that is very good at making you feel that level of immersion you want with that kind of game. It really gives you the sense that, the things that are taking place, you kind of lose track of what's going on everywhere else. You get tunnel vision and you're in this game and you're playing this game, and you're experiencing everything as it happens. So when I recorded it, I kind of had to remind myself, okay, I'm making content, so I gotta try to be clever. And I think all that really came out was me making a lot of jokes. I have this running joke that came from that game, where every time I see a skull in any game, if I see a skull now, it's Uncle Henry. And Layers of Fear created that. So it doesn't matter what game I'm playing. If I'm playing online with somebody and I see a skull, I say, that's my Uncle Henry right there. And I tell them the story about Uncle Henry, which I'll make up on the spot. But little things like that I took from Layers of Fear. But that was a great series. I saw that one through right from start to finish, including DLC. I recorded the entire thing, and I loved it. It's one of those, when I said earlier, there's 2 or 3 series that if I had to keep them forever, that's one of them. That's definitely one of them.
Yeah, I think it was like the one of the first parts where fruit was coming out of the painting. I'm like, oh, okay, what's up with this? I'm like, oh, that's great. And it's finding the music and the atmosphere really does kind of mess with you a bit, and you're just like, I felt really uncomfortable. But that's really what a good horror game will make you do, is make you feel uncomfortable out of your element, and that gives the genuine moments. People are like, oh yeah, I see how you can feel like that.
Yeah, it's when they go into your psyche and they get you psychologically. That's when I find a game is done very well as a horror game. If it gets me at that level, then it was worth my money. It was definitely worth the money.
All right, so now we're going to kind of go into the kind of a little topic, and we're going to move on. With your videos, do you find that, because I want to go on the topic of playlists, do you find that before you start a series or so, do you make the playlist before or after you made a couple episodes? Do you find?
Well, most of the time, I'll be honest with you, most of the time I forget to make the playlist to begin with until I'm like 3 episodes deep into something. Okay. And that's typically how I do it, is I'll get 2 or 3 episodes into something. I'll go, oh, I didn't make a playlist for that. I better make one now. Unless I know in advance, okay, I'm playing this one right. Observer was one where I was like, I'm definitely playing this start to finish, so I'll start the playlist right away, so that I have it ready to roll, and I just tag it, put it in, done when I'm done recording a session.
Oh, that's understandable. Okay, so now we're going to move on to talking about thumbnails. Do you have a certain process when you're going to make your thumbnails? Do you like that? Do you just kind of take a screenshot from the game, or do you find high-res picture online? Everybody seems to have their own little thing. I kind of want to understand about what you think.
Well, I'd say at least 95% of the time, I'm just taking something out of the game from a moment that I remember from the recording session. I'll go back in the footage. I'll kind of watch it and say, okay, this is kind of one of the critical moments in what happens in this video. Now I got to find something that looks decent enough that I can crop it, start messing around with it, and kind of condensing it into a decent looking thumbnail. So 95% of the time, I just grab the content. Then I start messing with it and seeing what I can come up with.
Okay. I'm guessing that you mainly do that for your series. I'm guessing from streaming, you just leave what's automatically there for streaming, because I know some people don't like to bother making a thumbnail for a stream because they're just going to go do it and then after. Is there? If
I'm streaming on PC, I'll make a thumbnail. I'll create a thumbnail and I'll have it ready to go, because I can apply it that way. For some reason, when I stream on the PlayStation, it just gives me a generic screenshot. And if I want a thumbnail, I got to put one in later. And most of the time, the stream's already done. You know, it's over at that point. And if somebody wants to go and click it after the fact and check it out, cool, that's fine. That's wonderful. But, you know, there's nothing I can do to make that video look appealing for people that may stumble upon it while it's live. I'll see if there's a way around that. There might be. But yeah, for the ones that come from PSVR, for the most part, they're generated by the game.
Okay. That's good. Right. Now we're kind of gonna want to go into something about. I think this is probably a topic for everybody. Tags. Now, when you put up a video, do you find yourself spending a bunch of time thinking about tags for the videos, or is this something that you don't worry about?
I don't really worry about it too much. When I first started, I would just kind of tag in things I felt while making the video. So funny, hilarious, this happened. You know, this game, this is the name of the game, who's in it, stuff like that. And now I use, I can't remember the name of the, what is this one? TubeBuddy? Is it called TubeBuddy? Yeah, TubeBuddy.
Yep, TubeBuddy. Yep.
Yeah, TubeBuddy is my buddy. because I just tell TubeBuddy, hey, get me some tags, and it helps me out with that. So it's like, okay, cool. You gave me a bunch to work with. I'll just click these little boxes. You go ahead and put them in there, and I'll just keep making content. So TubeBuddy does that work for me now.
Now, I'm guessing for streaming, I see that you do have a Twitch. Do you do it on YouTube as well, or do you try to like to go with preference between one and the other?
I do most of my streaming is on YouTube.
Okay,
most of it takes place on YouTube. My Twitch channel is very, very new and very, very lightly used. I haven't used it too much. I anticipate at some point I'll head over to it and I'll try to grow it. But the only reason I really launched a Twitch channel was for a game called SOS, which is going to release in earnest early access tomorrow. It actually releases tomorrow. But I was invited into the alpha. I was invited into the beta. And I was also invited into a special event called Threats versus Vets, where 100 veteran players, famous streamers, that kind of thing, get in. And then 100 other people have to submit audition tapes to be selected to be eligible to play in this 200 player kind of event. So I got in on that as well. And the caveat was Twitch kind of ties into their custom platform they have called Hero, Hero.tv. And what Hero.tv is, it's a streaming service. It's like watching a stream on YouTube, watching a stream on Twitch. But Hero gives you these interaction buttons at the bottom of the screen for SOS. So there could be hearts, there could be smiley faces, there could be angry faces. And as a viewer, as you're clicking those, you're actually changing the outcome of the game. And the player can see that. So as I'm playing SOS, if somebody's spamming the heart button while I'm playing the game, I can see that. I see little hearts coming up on the screen, so I know that, oh, people are liking what I'm doing. Or if I kill some guy that maybe someone liked, you get the mad faces coming up. So, oh, I really made some people angry. So that technology is kind of cool, and that's kind of why I went over to Twitch, was to do the SOS stuff.
Yeah, I think they're starting to do that stuff with Mixer, the platform that Microsoft decides to take in and make their own little streaming service. But there's a thing they're doing with Minecraft where you can actually play some of these like challenge maps, and then people down the bottom of the Mixer thing actually have a thing to drop a trap or take the ground out from underneath you and stuff like that. So that's going to be something interesting.
That is cool. That is cool. Have you used Mixer?
Yeah, yep. I have used it. It's kind of built into the Xbox One. I've used that, but I haven't really done the Minecraft stuff for it. So I think it's mainly tailored towards that right now. I haven't really found any other games where that kind of works at the moment. So
yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I saw Mixer. Yeah. I have an Xbox One and I use it as much as I use anything else, really. I thought about it. I was like, okay, am I gonna get into streaming? Am I gonna do that on my Xbox? If I do, what is this Mixer thing? And I never really sat down and took any time to kind of investigate what it is, how it works, stuff like that.
It's mainly, especially with Mixer, it's kind of like in there in a moment. It's kind of a small niche community. There's not really much discoverability on there yet. But if you have people who follow you on like that, and you're playing a certain game, they're like, hey, they'll follow you and stuff, and check out your games, what you play. I find with the Xbox, see right now, they have kind of a beta thing for Mixer where you can actually use a webcam with it on your Xbox. So originally I had the original Xbox with the Kinect, and I was using that as a camera, and I traded into the newer console, the One S, and I don't have it for Twitch anymore. So, but Mixer there's a kind of a beta thing in the preview program right now where you can clip in your webcam, and so it makes it look a lot prettier than it did with Kinect, because as we all know, Kinect is a terrible camera. Terrible.
Yeah. It didn't serve its own purpose. I remember the first Kinect, and how excited I was to try it until I tried it, and then I realized quickly afterwards, okay, yeah, the future's coming. It's just not here yet.
Yeah, and they kind of like, and as we kind of they cut the support on that, so they're not making any more of them. because nobody's been really using them, so it's kind of a thing. But yeah, I find that especially I find more apt to use Mixer right now if I'm doing console stuff until I get a capture card. Until I get a capture card, I'll be using that so that people can see the webcam what I'm doing, and I can change my setup so it's nice and good to go. But yeah, I'd say Mixer would be something, if you got a chance, I would try it out, but I wouldn't focus on it because, well, it's kind of new and it's kind of a niche community for it.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll try. I plan on checking it out. It's just one of those things. I got to find the time to do it.
Yeah, the time. Yeah, I completely understand. All right. Okay, I think what I will do is I'll ask about one more video, and then I'm going to kind of have a couple closing questions. All right?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm just going to scroll through your list here, and yeah, definitely. I got to ask about that. I like to ask people about this game. Cuphead.
Oh, God.
How much rage do you feel from Cuphead?
I feel enough. Enough that I was very tentative about going back to it. And here's the thing that bothered me the most about Cuphead. It's not that I lost. I expected that. I knew in advance. I read the reviews. I knew what their intention was. I knew it was going to happen. But the problem I had is, as a content creator, I know that people are tuning in because two reasons with Cuphead. One, they want to see you rage, but two, they want to see if you actually beat the damn thing. You got to get to that next level. You got to get to that next boss. And I found some videos going 40, 50 minutes, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, I can't do this. I got other things to do. I can't be mad at Cuphead all night for the rest of the week. So I kind of tried to space it out a little bit, and try it that way. But in the end, it was just becoming a bit much. Where I'm sitting with it for an hour or so on a single boss. I'm like, God, Ronan, you gotta step away from this for a little bit, buddy. You're gonna lose your mind. So it served its purpose. It achieved what it wanted to. I was definitely very angry with it, but maybe for different reasons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because a lot of people tell me that when playing it, it's just like the time consumption is real, and you will find that you will get really, really angry at the stupidest things.
Yeah, I wouldn't stream it. I would never stream it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's like that's what I'm. Just the amount of salt that probably gets tossed because of that game.
Yeah.
True enough. Okay, so all right, we're gonna go on to some fun ending questions.
Sure.
Okay, so do you have anything that you're currently working on that you'd like to tell the viewership right now?
Yeah. So starting tomorrow, a brand new PSVR game is coming out. It's launching tomorrow, and it is the prequel to Until Dawn, and it's called The Inpatient. It releases tomorrow, so I will probably be streaming it tomorrow night. That being said, the really interesting thing about The Inpatient is it's set in the... Have you played Until Dawn?
I have not actually played it, but I have watched a complete playthrough, so
okay,
I'm
so
good on that part.
You kind of get the references to the old asylum from the 1800s.
Yes.
They kind of touch on that. Okay, so that's the setting. The setting is in that asylum. And from my understanding, you play as a patient in the asylum, and you got to kind of try to piece your memories together. The cool thing, which I just found today, is that the dialogue in-game is all interactive. It doesn't read my dialogue for me. I have to actually say it. Yeah, it'll give me choices like all those supermassive games do, where it'll say, okay, you have this option, you have this option, but until I speak it, nothing's going to happen. So I'm actually interacting with the world. So I look forward to that. That's going to start tomorrow as the game launches tomorrow. Beyond that, I mean, as far as things to look out for, I have a few things on the back burner, some things I got to catch up. I got to finish Home Sweet Home. Stuff like that. But I mean, kind of always keep an eye out. If I'm posting something, it's because I feel really good that people will enjoy it. So when I'm not posting, it just means I just stepped away for a little bit. I'll be back. I just need a little time. Yeah. And the next stuff you see is going to be good enough. So but the big one is Inpatient. I'm really excited. Really, really excited for that.
Okay. Yeah. See, I will probably, since you said that you're starting tomorrow with that, I will post a annotation to that stream because this video will be up on Saturday afterwards. So, but yeah, I will make sure that there is a link to that stream so that you people can view it. So as soon as you talk about it, it's like, what is in the past? It's like, well, production, editing, all that fun stuff.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to the future. Okay. Okay, so kind of one of the ending questions that I kind of want to ask you is, if someone was going to start doing YouTube, start doing Twitch, streaming and all that, what advice would you give them right now as a beginning person?
So, the best advice I can give to anybody new to this, whether they're continuing to do it or if they're extremely successful, the best advice I can give is be your audience. Create the content that you want to see and you want to create. Don't cater to what you think people want, because you lose 100% of what it is you're trying to do. If you're trying to cater to what you think an audience wants, with a specific game you want to play because it's popular and you see other streamers doing it, a certain style of dialogue, a certain style of banter. If you're not being yourself, you're not enjoying the process. And if you're not enjoying the process whatsoever, that's going to really show through in the content. You're going to hate doing it, and you're going to just step away from it and give up on it. So be your audience, create what you want to create, and do it because you enjoy it. If you get to the end of a video and you can go back and hit play and enjoy it yourself, even though you were there and you created the content, if you can hit play and you can watch it and enjoy what you're watching, then you've achieved what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that is very true. And another thing I like to add is you got to have fun. You got to have fun with what you're doing and make it enjoyable and also having fun, because really I see a lot of these young streamers and stuff like that I've kind of dabbled and watched. I find that if they're not having fun with that, if it's a complete mess, they're like swearing everything, they're not really enjoying themselves, it doesn't really make it enjoyable for me as well. So I find having fun is like another key thing that you should always try to keep towards, right?
Absolutely. That's the only reason to do it. If you're not having fun, then why are we doing this, right?
Yeah, because as you know, with monetization, it's really hard to get there again. So,
I love that subject, monetization.
Oh yes, yeah, that's kind of that's kind of one last little thing. I just kind of a little tidbit at the end of the video. What are your thoughts on that? I kind of just throw this in here.
So, for my own purposes, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. The fact that this has happened, personally, it doesn't bother me. It's not because I don't care. It's just because I don't look at this part of my life as a career option. I don't look at it as something I need to have. Can I stop doing it tomorrow and be okay? Absolutely. Now, the part that does bother me is, for the sake of all these other content creators that have worked so damn hard to get there, and especially the ones that just got there, the ones that just got to the ability to monetize their channels, just to get this notification letter, which I don't know if you've read it, but the email I received made it sound like us as content creators were doing them wrong somehow by not having a staple of, what is it, 1,000 subscribers, or not having 4,000 hours. We were being looked down upon as though we're not even a part of what their grand scheme and their grand vision is. It's the kind of, sorry you didn't get there, we're disappointed in you, and try harder in the future is what it felt like, instead of feeling, hey, we appreciate that you're doing this, we've had to make some changes, here's why, but please keep doing what you do, right? That would have been okay. So what I did is I decided that they violated my terms of service, and I demonetized everything on my channel manually before they could.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that. I find that they could have worded it better. They really could have done a better release on the information that they said. And if they said it the way you said it, I would have probably felt a lot better. But no, it really is kind of insulting, especially to the people who just got there, who worked so hard to get to that point, and then suddenly it gets taken away from them. It's like you're giving a child a lollipop, and they take one lick, and you take it back and say, "Yeah, you got to work harder for that now." It's really
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Yeah, and then that's the worst part is that I know a lot of content creators, and I've seen them hit those milestones, and well, they've earned it. They've earned it. And then I look at some of the stuff that has, 50, 60, 70, 100 million views, and it's garbage. And I look at some of this stuff, and I'm like, how does this happen? How does this happen? Yeah, I get that it goes viral and something stupid happens in the video, but a lot of these content creators that are at the top of the food chain, I just kind of shake my head and I go, okay, you know what? I don't need to get it. I don't need to understand it, but I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. But then I see these small content creators that are making fantastic product, and they're not getting the same views that they deserve. They actually deserve it. Their stuff makes me laugh. Their stuff entertains me. But that's just, hey, I can't control the way of the internet or the way of people. But I just feel bad for the ones that, really, really were either there and just reached it, or are just about to reach that milestone, and just to have the rug pulled out from under them like that's terrible.
Yeah, and there are a great many content creators out there who are hauling ass and doing the best they can, and the content is beautiful, and they get like sometimes up to 9 views on it, and it makes me feel bad. And I know, especially with the monetization, people are doing a lot of sub for sub stuff, and it's not really going to help you. I'd rather sub to somebody who I find their content is interesting, and that they're doing stuff that I like to watch. I don't want to be one of those just numbers that's sitting on their page saying, yeah, I support you, but I'm not going to watch your stuff. It's I'd rather have one person who likes my videos and wants to watch them, than have millions and millions of people who just click it once and click off it within 5 seconds later, right?
Yep,
because they're not showing. Yeah, and that's the way I feel about it. And I really do hope that in the future that we get a little bit more clarity, and maybe and trying to help the smaller content creators instead of hindering them like they have, right?
That's the big thing is, as the smaller content creators, and you know what, there's a fantastic community of small content creators, and I've found that it doesn't matter who they are. I've yet to see a major feud between small content creators. If anything, they kind of support each other, and they pull each other in, and introduce each other to others that are doing the same thing. They share best practices and learn from one another, and that's a wonderful thing to see. And that ultimately is what's going to take some of those small content creators up to that upper echelon. And the only thing I ask of those creators that are currently smaller content creators is, the only thing I ask is be humble. Remember where you came from. As you get there, bring some friends with you, right? To help the others that were struggling with you. Help them get up there too, so they can bring the next ones up and the next ones, and we can ultimately pay it forward. And it becomes our community, where we don't have to worry about getting scolded at by the platform, because we have each other. Yeah,
and that's the beautiful thing, and that's kind of what I like to do with this series. Is I like to ask people, hey, you want to be I put it out, and I say I don't care if you just do streaming, I don't care if you just do YouTube channel like that, and if you want to be interviewed, I'll interview you, and I'll post stuff to your content, I'll share your stuff. I'm trying to get into this kind of mode where I automatically, if I see somebody, I say, hey, I really enjoy this, I'll share it out. And that's why I like doing collabs. Collabs are an excellent way of, especially for somebody who's a smaller channel, is to kind of put them out there, get them to the broader audience. And that's why I love doing collabs, because collabs are an amazing way of doing that. Because if the people enjoy somebody who's been in a collab with you, and they go check out their stuff, and then they start becoming out and watch their stuff, and then they do something with someone else, and kind of continuing the kind of pattern, especially with collabs, because then they're like, hey, I really like this guy, the way he does these certain things, I'm going to go check out his channel. And then they find someone else in their one, and just continuing on, right? And I find that's a beautiful way of doing it. It's just sharing and getting people in on your content, so they want to check out their original content on their channel, and it kind of goes from there, right?
Yep, that's exactly how it works. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely beautiful. Well, all right. All right. I think we're going to end the interview here. I want to personally thank you for sitting down with me today.
No problem. It was a pleasure. It was really a lot of fun, and I thank you for having me on.
Yep, not a problem. All right. Is there any other places you'd like to be reached at, or just your YouTube or your Twitter or your Twitch?
I think the best ways to find me is check my YouTube, see what's going on, see if I'm posting anything, and if you see something going on, click it, watch it. I'm sure you'll like it, and if you don't, well, hey, I'm not for everybody. Twitter, I mess around with Twitter quite a bit, so those are probably the two best places to go looking for me. If you want to kind of keep up with what I'm doing.
All right. Well, thank you very much again, and I will say the thing I always say at the end of all of my videos, and this Canadian here is rooting for your bacon. See you later, guys.